Scholars, we're going to be working on notice and notes today, and in particular we're looking at nonfictions. This is a social studies class. We read nonfiction texts. And so in Schoology you have a document where you are going to take your notes on. So you'll need to listen to my lecture and then fill in the notes as we go along. So have that document open, please. Pause the video, open it up, and split the screen so you can listen to the lecture as well as take notes as we go along. Thanks for pausing. The first thing that we're going to talk about is something called contrasts and contradictions. And so when you're reading any kind of text, you want to make sure that the author is showing you a difference between what you know and what is happening in the text. So this is an example below. What's the difference? You need to ask yourself, what's the difference and why does it matter? So if you answer these questions, it should help you see the details that show you the following. What's the main idea? Compare and contrasts, the author's purpose, making inferences or generalizations, and cause and effect. Another notice and note strategy that you should be using when we are reading nonfiction text is when you're reading and you notice the author's quoted a voice of authority, a personal perspective, or cited other words, you need to stop and ask yourself the following. Why did the author say it like that? What's the purpose? What's the point? Okay, so you want to look at the author's point of view, again, the author's purpose, the difference between facts and opinion. This is crucial in our class especially, and how to make generalizations. Another strategy from notice and notes is this extreme language. So when you're reading and you notice that the author uses languages that leave no doubt, or they exaggerate, or they push the limits, you need to stop and ask yourself the following. Why did the author quote or cite this person? So answering these questions will help you. So you're going to think about the author's point of view and purpose. Think about the author's potential bias or their conclusions they might draw. What perspective do you gain from this? Decipher between facts and opinions, and also making those generalizations. Something else that we'll look at is called word gaps. So when you're reading and you notice the author uses a word or phrase that you don't know, you need to stop right away and ask yourself, do I know this word? Have I seen it before? Is it from someplace else that I've seen? Does it seem like technical talk, something like an expert might use, somebody who is very well versed in that area? Or can I find clues in the sentence to help me understand the word? So this is looking at context clues. So what's in that paragraph, what's in those sentences that surround it to let me know what this word means? So when you do that, answering these questions might help you decide if you need to look up the word or if you need to keep reading for more information. Another strategy is numbers and stats or statistics. So when you're reading and you notice numbers or number words or amounts, you always need to stop and ask, why did the author use those numbers or amounts? So if you ask yourself these questions, you should be able to come to a conclusion, maybe make a comparison, look up details, make inferences, and find facts or recognize evidence. So as you're reading, this is a brief overview. As you're reading, we call these annotations. So you write in the margins, you write your thoughts, and I know Mr. McLean has been working on you with this. So you should be already familiar with this system. So you are going to apply that in social studies text as well. So when I ask you to read an article, I do expect from now on that you are annotating it and providing your thoughts in the margins. I also expect that we'll be using these notice and note strategies. So here's a quick guide to help you when you are looking at a Google Doc or a PDF or a Google slide perhaps. I want you to use the virtual highlight feature. So if you're looking at things that are contrasts and contradictions and it's written on a piece of paper, by all means you can put CC on the paper. You can also put CC in the margins, but you're going to highlight your text yellow in your document. If you're looking at word gaps, you notice them as you are reading, you stop. You can use a W, but I want you to highlight the text blue. So these would be words that you're not familiar with. Numbers and stats, whenever you see something that has some kind of statistical data, some information, years, those kinds of things, you're going to stop and highlight the text red. And quoted words are going to be highlighted in orange. So this is anything that is coming directly from a person of authority. And last but not least, if you're going to use extreme or absolute language, you're also going to highlight your words in green. And so what I'm going to ask you that you do today is to put these into practice. So we're going to have you read an article, and it's about tobacco in the Jamestown colony and how it basically affects colonial America. So you're going to read this article, and I expect that you can annotate it by adding comments, but also I'd like to see you highlighting it using these notice and note strategies and these symbols. When you're finished, please submit it. That way I can see that you are using the tools effectively, and we will continue to work through this process the rest of the week on other assignments. If you have any questions, I strongly encourage that you attend my Zoom on Mondays at 11:45. This would be a great opportunity for us to have a one-on-one conversation and maybe help you through this process. If you have any other questions, you can also email me.